I'd like to welcome everybody to the City of Westminster Historic District Commission this evening, our monthly meeting. Tonight is Wednesday, August 7th, and I'm going to call us all to order with our statement of authority. The Westminster Historic District Commission derives its authority from Chapter 164, Article 9A of the City Code, which is authorized by the Maryland Code Annotated Land Use Article Division 1, Single Jurisdiction Planning and Zoning, Title 8, Historic Preservation. The qualifications of the Westminster Historic District Commission are on file at the City Administration Building at 45 West Main Street, and the file is open to the public. I'd like to take a quick moment to just introduce our participants today so you know who's here. This is Heavy Baby, Chris McMaster's chair, Chris Amadori, and you have a slim, we have two other members. One of them I knew wasn't coming tonight, so. And then we have city staff. Melissa Thorne, Sammy.
Mark Depot, Director of Planning.
Thank you very much. We have guests this evening, and so I think it's a good idea to just rearrange the agenda a little. We're not gonna add or subtract, but we're gonna rearrange it so that our good friends and city neighbors can present and leave. And they don't have to stay, although everybody's always welcome to stay. All right, so let's start with our new business, 177 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a historic structures report review. And Melissa's got her name on it, so there you go.
I guess I could have put anybody's name on it, but I'm happy to take it.
You gotta own it.
I am owning it, so sure. Alrighty, so we have just some background for 177 Pennsylvania Avenue. This property is owned by McDaniel College since 2005 and has been vacant since that point. We actually had Chair Kristen McMasters and myself join McDaniel staff for a site visit. This was back in September of this past year. And it was evident that the structure was in disrepair and had numerous issues. There was a demolition permit filed with Carroll County Permits on August 17th of the following year, 2022. And so after conversations and discussion of historic district tax credits, it was discussed that the demolition permit and the process to move forward would be the avenue. So we have shared our required documentation for all of the structures for consideration of demolition permits within the city and gave a historical structural report example. And then on June 10th of this year, Cindy Ward with McDaniel College emailed a copy of the completed historic structures report to staff, which was completed by JMN Engineering LLC. So that was emailed out and it was decided an extra month of review would be requested just to make sure that everything was according to our checklist. Actually, I skipped over. Let me explain. It's a single family home. It's in the R7500 and also located within the Westminster Historic District. It was built in 1918 and has a living area of about 1,500 square feet, including a shed. The property is not listed within the Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties, and the future use of the lot was determined to be an open lot, at least for the short term. So staff recommends the commission consider acceptance of the structures report.
I'm gonna allow the applicants a word or two, if they have anything to add to Melissa's suggestion. I think I met you.
Yeah, I was there at the.
You were there. Nobody else was though, right?
John was there.
Yeah, there was a few people there, but you're the only one I recall from that meeting. Good, I'm glad to see you. If there's no questions or comments yet from the applicants, and this will be a dialogue, so don't worry about being foreclosed from any thoughts for considerations. I just have one basic question, and that is, does the demo permit include the shed?
It does. It does on the Carroll County building permit.
But it's not documented here in the historic structures report.
Is there a shed? That definitely confirm.
And you're definitely taking it down. So it
Well, we
means
will, I mean, we
you want to.
but I mean, we could reapply for that piece if that.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be part of the documentation. If you're taking the shed down, it's part of the historic.
So we will have to get another.
that?
No, there was a shed.
Yeah, I was assuming the shed was actually on the neighbor's property.
Yes. I think it's next to the house.
Because there's a concrete. Yeah, there's a concrete pad, but there's no shed on the pad.
It's the next house.
It's the next house, because this is not a building. It implies
Yeah,
it's a
there
shed.
might have been a shed there at one point, there's a concrete pad,
It's gravel.
and then there's the gravel parking pad.
Okay, so the shed's really on another property.
There's like 3 sheds down that alley. There are some vacant concrete slabs which may have had sheds in the past.
Let's just put it out there, if you're gonna take a shed down, it has to be recorded. If there's no shed there, then we don't worry about it. If the shed is next door and it belongs to the next door and you have any designs similar to this, then it has to be recorded.
She gets the next door.
I'm gonna take your word for it. We don't have any satellite anything, I suppose. That's what she's looking for.
Yeah, there's the, where the pad, where the pad is, there's some trees, but you. Great.
Yeah, it's really clear. It's a very nice picture.
It's right
Oh, here you
there,
go, we're here.
but that's well, if I can find a picture in the report of the backyard, there, it should show just.
There's a picture of the report.
Behind it, there's no way behind it. Yeah, if you look on page 14 of the report.
There are 2 copies of the structures report
Yeah.
on the table today.
There's a copy right there too. I'm looking at page 14, but I don't see anything.
Yeah, that's if you look in the back of the house, there's the, you can see behind, there's a pine tree or spruce.
Right.
Right behind there is where there's that concrete pad, but there's no shed.
Okay. All right, well, that was one big question I had.
Oh, there we go.
If there's no shed to take down, then there's no demo to worry about, with a structure like that. If there is in the future, just keep in mind all structures have to be recorded.
So that means all sheds, garages, and so that.
Outhouses, chicken houses, coal bins, anything that's part of that historic structure is part of what made it go. Okay. All right, well, that's good to know. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Yeah, there's the.
I have one that's just a really picky question. A couple places in the report, it said the property was acquired in 2005. In a couple other places, it said 2006.
Oh, you know what I might have done? Okay, so there's reference in the SDAT sheet to dates when property's transferred, but then sometimes the deed, they're not, the dates aren't exactly the same, so that might have just been discrepancies that are based on where I was pulling a reference from at the time.
And you said the property was vacant when you acquired it?
So the property's always been vacant.
Okay. I was just a little confused because the people who transferred it to you had a life tenancy, which tends to mean that somebody's living there and wants to keep living there.
So just a general question, so McDaniel's owned the property for almost 20 years? And in 20 years, McDaniel just let it sit, didn't do anything to it?
It is my understanding, I haven't been there for 30 years, but I mean, it is my understanding that, well, so take a step back. At what point there were visions of buildings to more housing, down PA Avenue. Those plans came to a halt during the 2007, 2008 session. Since there hasn't been any thoughts to go back to that plan, so yes, the house has sat in.
So they bought it with the intention, McDaniel bought it with the intention of knocking it down.
So, you're aware anything that gets built on that property in the future has to stay within that same scope of size and feeling. You'll never be able to take that land and make it into a dorm or something. It'll always have to stay within that scope and size to stay within the historic district's feeling, setting, and scope of structure. So, and sometimes I don't think people really understand that. You can't take down a shed and put up a Hilton. You know, it'll have to stay a Hilton shed.
We'll have to build a house.
It'll have to be something of that same scope or size. Doesn't necessarily have to be residential, but it'll have to be something that'll complement the historic district. Alrighty, and I do remember with Melissa, I was a little surprised because I thought all this place needed really was a good roof. That was all it needed to preserve it.
About more than that.
Well,
It does now.
it does now after 20 years. But, okay, so do we have any other questions from our commissioners? Melissa does have some recommended language for motions. And so, tonight, I recommend we stick with what she wants to hear to accomplish this evening's goal. So we have 3 options. I move the Historic District Commission approves the structure report as written. I move that the Historic District Commission denies the structure report for 177, or I move an alternate motion. It's very creative.
Kind of out there,
I like it.
get creativity on the last one.
I guess one question is, do we need that date clarified, or can we leave it as somewhat squishy the way it's presented?
I don't know how picky you get about things like that.
How do you feel, Chris?
Oh, wow, I mean,
We could get
You
them
mean
to
dates.
resubmit it as a conditional.
yeah. Like the date 2005 and 2006, yeah, I mean, pick one.
So if we were to accept the structural report, option 1 as written, we would ask it to be as edited with the correct date of ownership. And just ask you to go through it and edit out either 2006 or 2005, whichever you land on. But that would be a conditional approval of the report as presented.
Yeah, that's no problem.
All right, do we have a motion this evening?
I make a motion to accept the original proposal with amendments and resubmit.
As a with a condition of resubmitting with the correct date. Does that make sense, Melissa?
Could you repeat that? I apologize.
A motion's on the table to accept the report
Yes.
with the condition of correcting the date that the college received the property.
Sure, do you wanna list the date of the address? I mean, the address of the property?
That of 177 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Great.
So that's the motion on the table. Second. 50 seconds. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So you understand, we accept your documentation, except we just need that fixed. That one thing fixed, that's the condition.
No problem.
All right. All right, so are there any questions while you have the city staff here, maybe on next steps or what happens next?
I do have a question. Clarify, thanks for that insight, that's it, because, I was unaware of that policy. But we don't have any intention to build it, so it's fine. So we initially was hoping to do this earlier in the summer. Understand, catch up, push back. There is it's our understanding that there is a rule related to when it has to be done once it's approved, for approximately 90 days.
You included that, Melissa, in the documentation. Oh, for our best practices. For the demolition
It
requirements?
says the owner of any building which has been ordered demolish shall be given notice in the manner provided for services of the notice of uninhabitable buildings and shall be given reasonable time not to exceed 90 days to demolish such structure.
I think that has,
This is the new one that we have. That's not what he's looking at. This is the one Kathy was working on.
No, on the,
is there a section, is that from the code, city code?
Yes.
yeah,
So it
Oh.
Is that-
may be one, there's
It could
two
be a
kinds of
Building by neglect type.
Thank you. And this-
demolition required.
Ah,
That's
okay.
when the city tells you to demo
Oh, okay.
something. This is where you're requesting it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, this is, if it's uninhabitable and you let it go beyond repair, the option is to demolish it or we'll take it down. If we take it down, ultimately we charge you for that. So that, yeah, it's fair to refuse to take it down. So this is something different. In this
Okay.
case, again, you're asking to demo it. Demo permit with the county may have a time limit to it. I don't know about that, but this would be for something different.
So when do you wanna demo it?
Well, we were hoping to do it before students got back, but students will be back Friday, so
You better get out there.
so this will probably be,
A next summer project. So does that have to be recorded, Melissa, within the city documents that this will not, or it just is, it doesn't matter, you'll have made the approval and it happens when it happens.
Right, at that point, I believe the city still needs to sign off. But after that point, the only question is there an expiration for the demo permit? Once the city, and that will be a Carroll County building permit question.
usually.
We can get it extended, but yeah, it's just something that the county would be requiring.
Cause students wouldn't leave until May.
So it's easier, we could wait a month to sign it.
It's fine.
You know what I mean? Just to give you to the end of the summer.
And then Jim, you wanna know, you've done a few of these now, tonight we're working over kind of another revision. So if you do another one, ask for the new guidelines.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Just a heads up. Is there anything else?
So you're not gonna build anything else there?
Currently, no, there are no plans to go there. So we're still-
Get it off the rolls. All right, well, thank you very much. And Melissa will be your contact for any further paperwork.
And one more thing, I'm sorry, when you do demolish it, I'm guessing there's a water meter associated with this property. You have to coordinate with Department of Public Works to remove the water meter and also shut off the water to the property. Physically shut it off inside and no inspect for that. That'll stop you from getting water bills. Once that happens, you lose your water allocation to the property. So anything that was established there is now going to start from zero. Just something to know.
Is there still a wait list for this?
For water, no, we have plenty of water now, so it's really not much.
A few years
So,
ago, we had,
Yeah,
it's like a 2 year delay.
it's a little bit different now, yeah. But I'm sorry, that's just something to think about when you're probably paying a water bill now, because you have a meter, even though nobody's living there, because you better give a base fee for that,
Yeah, you could do that now.
yeah.
The guidelines, on what you can build on the site, is that, where's that located?
That would be through planning with, Director D. But it's gotta be an additive thing to the historic district. I can't take away from what we have. Whatever you put in is gonna be complementary. Strengthen it rather than like be a gas station or something. 7-Eleven. Yeah. Rubbermaid.
So anything you do develop on that would be the site development plan, unless it's another single family house. But any new development, we would require to come to the Historic District Commission for recommendation. And that recommendation will be forwarded to the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval of the site development plan. And a single family house, not an issue, that's permits, we'll still ask for architectural elevations for historic district review, but But yeah, once you get a concept of what you might wanna do there, you give us a call, we'll sit down with you and go over everything.
We don't have to run it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a great night. Sorry about the delay.
Apologies on.
All right, next on new business. Is for someone with a little bit of dyslexia, going from 177, that's kind of.
Oh, I know.
117 East Main Street is a challenge. So, Melissa again is the culprit with her name on it, so she gets to do this presentation as well.
Happy to do this one as well. So we are talking about a proposed awning at 117 East Main Street. The applicant is here tonight, Clarinda, and she's proposing a 60-foot awning over the entrance of the Lutheran Social Ministries of Maryland. And this is an entrance facing Winter Street. The awning design was produced by Carroll Architectural Shade and was submitted to our department through the sign application process. And that was on June 2nd of 2024. The awnings are proposed to be head mounted to the existing brick wall, includes aluminum framing and fabric structure in blue with white lettering per the business brand. The property is in the downtown business zone and located within our historic district. It is listed on our Maryland inventory of historic properties and has the car number of 402, also known as the Westminster Hotel and the Charles Carroll Building. Staff recommends tonight that the Historic District Commission review the attached documents and provide a recommendation pertaining to the proposed awning at 117 East Main Street. I apologize, I only had the sign permit posted to the website. So if you went and looked, that was the most important parts of the proposal here tonight, the actual work being done. But the added bonus tonight is that it was our old. So, and if there's any other questions, please let me know. Or if the property owner has any. What's that?
It's together. Sorry.
It's not currently,
I know.
Yes,
It's just,
Built as a hotel and a bank.
I did the bank.
Oh.
People were calling it the PNC Bank. And I was like, oh, yes. Oh, no, it'll be full. It's still there.
It's still there now, but yeah, when it was built as the Charles Carroll Hotel, and there was a bank in there, and I forget which of the many Westminster banks were in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Eventually,
the last incarnation was PNC.
Bank, yeah, they went from the Charles Carroll Hotel to the Westminster Hotel.
Cool. Something new.
Yeah, neat, you learned something.
So is there do you have a photo or an image besides that, like what this awning would look like and where is it going to go exactly? So I'm not really clear on this.
Oh, I think we have the page there. It's
going in the
Is it
back.
gonna replace this one that's above the door?
Yeah.
Oh, please do. We're not judges, we're just neighbors.
I know.
I'm actually a Lutheran, so it's okay.
This tiny awning, it's just gonna expand.
Oh, it's not
over it's gonna be in the back.
Oh, okay.
The reason being, so this building, we actually have two tenants, we rent it out to businesses. The third and fourth floor is used as corporate offices, basically, so the payroll, HR, IT people will sit there. And they just want signage. The signage that's facing Main Street is already used by the first and second floor tenants. And so they like to have their business signage somewhere, so we offered this awning, which will get bigger, and so it will accommodate their full name.
Okay, it's gonna
Right
go
now
in the back, not on the front.
Right, and it will be, that brown thing will go away, this is their lettering that they chose to go with. It's gonna be blue.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the tenant is Lutheran Social Ministries.
Yes, they are, yes.
Did they used to have a sign in the front?
I don't know, when we acquired the building December of last year, So when we acquired it, it's already how you see it now.
They should-
Maybe they had a temporary sign, but more permanent signage for Mulligan Recoveries is in the front. And so I think it was they hashed it up with the old owner, I'm not sure, but this is what they were understanding that we could proceed with.
Do we have any questions from our commissioners? Personally, I'm gonna give you a little insight to how I think on this stuff. Kind of initially, I was against this because I felt it was sort of too modern for a historic district.
Oh, okay.
But I have reconsidered because this whole back is modernized. And I think that putting a more historic looking awning where there really were awnings in the 1890s might be a false message,
Yeah.
because this whole skin back here is, you know.
I don't have a history of when that was. It is apparent once you're looking at it physically, right? That is definitely an add-on. Probably in the 80s, judging by the.
Big glass and all.
Yeah.
So to me, then this is not really that out of character with the existing facade. So just, you know, normally my very first thought when I first looked this over was, I hate this,
That's
but
my question, where's it going?
it's not so bad. It's not so
Back of the
bad.
back, facing the alley, pretty well hidden.
It's so that it's identification, I think, they do have either business partners or vendors or whomever, if it's corporate offices, come to their offices, they try to indicate to them, hey, this is how you should, you know, come get to us. They tell them to come in the back of the building, it's just so that they can really have a clear, like, you're in the right spot, come in this door, not in the front door.
I don't
Which
think that's
won't
too
get
much
in.
now. I don't think that's too much now.
No, it's right there, yeah, that's.
So, let's see, did Melissa give us any wording she wants us to use?
She sure did not. Because it's just a recommendation, so it really was the gamut, you know, of proposals. So if you've made some comments, if anybody else has comments, otherwise it sounds like a positive response to the proposed word.
Yes, do we need a motion? Is that a requirement?
I would say yes.
Alright, yeah. So, I'm looking at Chris. She's
You're
the
doing
senior,
great. One day I'll
she's
learn
the
how to make
senior
these
motion.
products.
She's got the experience in making them.
I make a proposal that we accept, I make a proposal that, right?
Recommendation.
Motion, jeez, sorry, I'm still on this. I make a motion that we accept the proposal for the awning as stated in the proposal.
At 170.
At 117 East Main Street in the rear, facing Winter Street.
That sounds right.
Yeah, all right.
You're gonna write it up well right now, so.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, so there's a motion on the table, is there a second? I hear a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? No, passed with consensus, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope this wasn't too big.
No. Just wait for the.
Next would actually be, so Joe Atkins is currently working on the actual formula of the amount, and things are looking positive, so you'll hear from our office
Okay.
as far as that.
If it meets requirements, just the sign requirements of the ordinance, then you'll get an email back approving the sign permit and the awning, and you're good to go.
He was definitely waiting for this meeting prior
Oh,
to
okay.
finalizing it, so things should move quicker.
I'm pretty sure the Lutheran people will, I told them this hearing was happening, so
Okay.
I will be getting an email tomorrow saying, how'd it go? When do we get that?
Yes, okay.
So when you
Who's
talk to
next?
everybody else on Main Street, tell them that was horrible.
Oh, I didn't.
When you talk to other people on Main Street, tell them it might not be so easy for them.
Well, it is giving me a very big insight. Sorry, you guys seem to know a lot about finding out where history of these things are, like, it would be amazing for me to know, like, where do you go? Or
Well,
What if I wanted to know more about 117 Main Street?
Yes, we're just working on a contract right now with a grant that we got to improve public access to the history we have.
Okay.
And although some of us have worked in this field for a long, long time and know where to find this stuff, regular people have a hard time.
I wouldn't know.
Exactly, and we're gonna try and get it digitally to their fingertips, where you can navigate literally on a website or on your phone and look up all the history there's now, all the historic maps, all the historic write-ups, and for your building,
You can say, actually, here we have an extra
Oh,
copy.
good, good.
Take
How would it be?
take
Yeah.
this with
I
you.
was so interested, I was like, what's up with this?
That's
Oh, cool.
a very quick thumbnail
It's called
sketch.
the Charles Carroll Building. Good. So it sounds a lot better than the PNC Bank, so.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and who knows,
Nothing against PNC Bank, it's just.
when we've talked to other homeowners who found out about their buildings, unfortunately, it's when they want a demo. But sometimes it's for tax credits.
Okay.
And you're within that zone, by the
Okay.
way. If you do something that supports the historic district, we might be able to find a tax credit. And there are others. There's some from the state and some from the feds.
We've been approached actually, has been about the Mathers, the old Mathers department store. We looked at it last year. That is a project. And I knew I was gonna have to talk to many times. So,
Well, think
but the
about-
history of it so intrigued us. It's just, and then something happened with that realtor. So anyway, we had to walk away from that project. And we took this one on, but we were approached again recently, like, if you still have interest. So, and I know that has definitely got a bigger history, so.
Well, let me tell you just very quickly, we offer a 10% tax credit to projects that enhance the history. They can't be projects that trash the history, it's gotta be enhancing the history. So you can't come in and do a Kmart job, drop the ceilings and stuff like that. But we can offer 10% tax credit. It doesn't sound like much, but we have the same rules the state does. They offer 20%.
Okay,
You put 10 and 20 together and that's better.
okay.
Being commercial, you can get a federal tax credit, but the same rules,
Yeah.
another 20%.
It would be, obviously the location is, it's a commercial area. We wouldn't turn it into an apartment really.
Well, even a commercial apartment building.
I think I was told like you could consider for the third floor, where, cause some places are like that now, where the bottom is retail or something, and then the top is like.
Well, even though it's called residential, it's done for a commercial purpose, you're renting it, you're not living there
Okay.
yourself.
Yeah, no,
So that's all commercial,
no, it's not.
and so that's up to 50%.
Okay, okay,
Then there are other Main Street grants that come and go,
okay.
that's not double dipping.
It'll be free.
You could get to the point where a significant amount of your expenses are, but you have to do so much prep work.
Oh, that's why I said this is its own project. It would take us, several years to really do it. I have to say, it was very attractive, when it was first presented to us. Now that a new realtor, I understand, is handling the thing, that's why we were approached again, so. But it's, I don't know, it just, that first walk down to that part of Main Street, I was like, this feels cozy, the library is right here, and, it was the recent history of it, the coffee music, you're like, that sounds kind of neat, it's all within the community, so, we're thinking that, and it definitely, I think, who was it, it was you, the anything that you're doing that has to go with the feel, what was the phrase?
The ambiance, the milieu of the historical community is required.
Yes, and that's definitely was forefront in your mind, because that's what attracted to us, that thing in the first place. So it's just, I think what we were trying to find out, and the realtor wasn't really knowledgeable, like, what are the limits of what you can do? I mean, obviously, probably not a club, we get that, but what kind of limitations there, or what kind of rules are there about what can we do here in this building?
When it comes to use, it's all pretty clear through the Department of Planning. And Mark and his staff can help you about, you know, whether or not you can have a tattoo parlor there or whatever else may be prohibited, you know, a drug recovery center or something might be prohibited.
Yeah.
However, you know, if it comes to dancing clubs, drinking, we help with covalent.
Oh, okay.
You know, we have a problem with helping communities get something going.
Okay,
We just wanna help maintain the historic fabric we have.
okay.
So think about it like an old quilt. You can sleep on it. Or you can sleep under it. Or you can throw it in your trunk for a snowstorm, as long as you don't cut it up.
Yep, no, we were, that's part of the charm of that building, it was like, all of a sudden, I was like, that's so cool, we noticed the word, the name on top, the W laser, so then we were like, who's that? And we started Googling and we were like, oh my god, it's like the Macy's of Westminster back in the day.
So there's more, the research you have, there's equivalent research for the matter.
Yeah, okay.
And you should get that because you could possibly use some of the historic names as floor names, or you
Yes,
could
yes,
use it,
yes.
you know. We were talking to another developer on the other end of town who is looking at a shoe factory, a historic shoe factory. And he was like, I didn't know that that was the name, and he's gonna try and use some of that in his conceiving what's gonna happen.
Okay, well, thank you, that just kind of excited me again for
Not only that, but
Main Street, oh,
through Melissa, you can get a hold of anyone. I'll go walk through with you at any
Okay.
point.
okay.
I'm always available to.
Yeah, and I look forward to being able to research that history of that thing. It's very interesting for us. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just that I guess we're not just into the buying any old Hilton, I guess.
Okay, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Stay dry.
You too, well tried.
All right, next new business. So, there is a history expo in the fall coming up. And we lost Melissa, didn't we?
Yes,
Uh,
it's October 5th
Oh, good. I was gonna say, I don't know the date off the top of my head.
from 9 AM to 12 PM at Exploration Commons.
So it is an awful lot like the history day thing we do at the high school. Again, we would need buy-in from the commissioner to stack the table. And I think we would do essentially the same sort of table setup we did for history day and we did for the Flower and Jazz Festival. As a matter of outreach. This is indoors, so it's a little nicer. It's back to like history day. And honestly, I have not attended one of these expos yet, so I just don't know what the foot traffic is. But tonight I'm asking whether or not we as a committee support that and would be willing to put in the hours to come sit.
It's only 3 hours, so.
I mean, it's not the time, 3 hours is 3 hours, but it's the date, so I have to I've got other commitments right now. On Saturdays, like work commitments, so I have to I couldn't commit right now, I'd have to wait further down the line to know if I could be there on that Saturday.
So well, you know, Kathy, if you're willing to do it, I'm willing to cover. And we can get that time in, and if we can get more commissioners, it's even better. Because one person sitting there, it does not seem exciting, but 2 people sitting there, it seems like fun. So please see, but if
Yeah, I can probably do it. I mean, again, it's a little far out, but I wouldn't think I'll have a problem, so.
I don't think there's any charge to it. I think I can just apply. I don't recall seeing any charge involved. So I'm gonna ask for a motion that we participate in this event and I'll fill out the paperwork that goes with it if the commissioners agree.
I make a motion that we fill out paperwork
It's so moved.
for the exhibitor registration for celebrating American Fall History Expo.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Good.
I'll learn how to do it.
What really makes me laugh is Mark's been at way too many meetings, he was so moved. It's exactly what you can do.
So moved.
Thanks,
Yeah. She says it correctly and you like it, so.
Alright, I'm gonna repeat it.
Well, unfortunately, Miss Melissa's not here. She did hear all that business that we did.
So they moved to register for the Celebrate America Pop History Expo.
Cool, wonderful.
We need more swag.
More swag, October,
Do
okay.
we have information about this? Like, is there something online somewhere about this or?
About the history
The
expo?
expo, yeah, any information about it?
So
Who
I
wants to participate?
I thought I had forwarded it, but it may not have, could have not. We have, so this is from Celebrating America Carroll County. And they're the ones inviting, so we have an email list for that. It has the registration link. Joe Thompson, Director of Public Services with the Carroll County Public Library, is usually the great communicator for their group right now. I'm not sure if he is a president, are there president or titles in the?
Well, he and Ryan are like co-coordinators,
Okay, yeah.
but really he takes the lead.
And this is just like the one that was done in February, but it's the fall expo versus the spring.
Is there a fee to registration, do you know?
I'm looking now, I don't believe
We have funds, so there's.
it's free, it's a free event,
Okay, good.
no fees to exhibit or attend.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks involved. Normally the same people that went to History Festival show up for this as well, same crowd. And they usually have speakers, I guess. And that ought to be interesting, because I have not been in Exploration Commons.
Haven't either, I shouldn't admit that.
I understand that it's sort of like a speaker in the round and we'll be sort of on the edges. So whatever happens, we'll be able to kind of watch what's happening and listen to whatever's being presented. So, and I'm assuming that little time period is already filled up, but of course, if there aren't enough speakers, I've got my hand to feel on doing tax credits, so I can always pull that out. It's a PowerPoint, I've had it forever. And it's a turn 20 minutes, so, oh yeah,
Very efficient.
can do it. So do you wanna fill out the paperwork, or want me to?
If you're offering, I will take you up on it.
I'll fill it out.
She stated she would.
I did, but then I started thinking.
So moved.
Yeah, exactly, so we.
I started thinking, ooh, maybe Melissa ought to, because she's now on the committee and it's very official.
No, my question is, what swag would you like? We currently have historic walking tours, the Sester Centennial, the Westminster Sester Centennial ones, which include, all the same that you've seen, commercial, which spans east and west, and then you have the eastern and the western side.
People love those. I don't know if you noticed how quickly they went.
I think I may have to order some more because I've been giving them out at the farmer's market and at the Carroll Visitor Center.
People love them. It's funny how, if I had to bet money, I would have said, we weren't even interested at the time. During the 250th event, we couldn't give them away. But now when you say to people, it's a self-guided walking tour, people are like, I'll take it.
They come up with something for historic district swag.
Yeah, so people love those little digital connector things. I don't know what you call them. But
The
kids were-
4-in-1 chargers.
The kids were all over those, like if anything digital like that, kids are like, can I have one of this? Of course. It's quite sweet.
We were brainstorming and staff were talking about, so we've done this year 2 types of those, like they kind of sit on your desk or on a shelf. The stress balls or the squeezies. We did a tree because we're a tree city. We most recently have a water droplet for Pure Water Westminster. And even though it's maybe not the coolest, hottest item, we now have 2 in our arsenal of things we've done. So it's kind of fun. So it's like, could we do a brick? And it's like building history 1 brick at a time, or restore, like, is there a slogan or something we can do
There
that
is.
ties into restoring a home?
We have the clock tower. Clock tower is our little logo for the historic
Mark's dream is
That,
that
I
we
said
get
we
one
could find a
with
little
clock tower.
squeaky clock tower, but that's.
But I haven't yet found a customized vendor that
Yeah,
will make
usually
it
it's
look like
Yeah.
a clock
You
tower.
put your tagline on it.
Well, if you need something, then like a brick or something architectural.
We could have something, I mean, because there's a bell in the clock tower, would they have a bell?
Look for a bell. Also trying to keep it to American made items,
Right.
Yeah,
so that I'm limiting ourselves even more, but it's totally worth it
Good.
once we get things.
I like the brick idea.
Big Buy America.
Mhm.
And what you, our logo could be saving every brick for Westminster.
Yeah,
Good taglines.
saving every brick. Maybe
Great jingles in your
saving bricks since when was this commission established?
A long time ago.
Yeah,
It was
it was like 1980 or 1979, right at the.
right at the cusp of writing the legislation. All right, good. Well, we're in on the exhibit. Let's move back to old business. So Miss Kathy came through in the clutch and helped us revise our checklist for demolitions. Did you get a chance to look at it? Oh. All right. So,
It's thorough.
I like it because she added this article she wrote about what is a Sanborn map and what's the legend mean and all that stuff. That is really a good educational piece for people. And I had a couple of comments I put in. Just that any permit, it's gotta be any demo permit. I'm sure there are permits for all kinds of stuff that they would need to do this for. Also, I put a comment that something about making a meeting call to the trust for their opinion.
Yeah, that was in there, so I wasn't quite sure whether you guys actually did that or not. I didn't,
Take it out.
yeah, I didn't take out too much though. I took out some duplication, but and added some stuff, but that I wasn't sure if you guys were really doing that or not.
Or not. The only field check is us.
Okay.
We are required to do that.
I was kind of surprised, but so we can, if you guys aren't doing that or we haven't been doing that, then.
No, he needs to go.
Cause usually, I was surprised to see that because usually MHT doesn't come out and give advisory opinions.
They don't like to be called unless they're the last shot.
Yeah.
Well, I like the bibliography. We talked about adding a bibliography and this one has links to it. So I think that's helpful. We can probably expand that a little bit. Doesn't have to all be online. I mean, somebody might have to go and look at, God forbid, a paper resource.
Well, I did try to, yeah, they're not all online. I did like reference that, if you don't wanna look at the newspapers online, they're available at HSCC or.
And maybe we could do, I was gonna say, these are good, maybe you could just like have headings like, Carroll County Historical Society, vertical files, or whatever you could find, and then even if it's a link, so, or, online from the county or something, maybe. Yeah, I think, this is definitely.
So also I wanted it to be a checklist because I want them to certify that they have done this. Like, this is supposed to be, they're telling us they did this. It is not a substitute for doing the report. You still have to do the report. But this just says we took all the recommended steps.
And it gives them, they don't have to like figure out where to start, they can say, oh, here. So like that was part of the reason to redo this also, is to, so yeah, I think that's.
So I actually, Chris, because you did such a good one, I wanna wait till you get a chance to look this over. And see if there's anything we missed. And also, Melissa, I want you to take this and take a look and see if there's anything that, in your experience of accepting historic district structure reports, whether it's unclear to a normal person. And maybe next month we could go through and decide if we want to accept this as our new advisory stance. And it'll go up on our website then for new demos.
And I think maybe on the website also, like some of the really good reports, you could use those or attach those as examples for people to look at, because sometimes that's helpful to people to see that than having to start from scratch, even if they're prompted with these things. So, and then maybe just a different layout. But I think this is good, like the checklist, so people go, oh, I have to look here, and here. Yeah, it's,
There might be something that we missed, so take it home and look at it for next month.
and I like the Sanborn map article attached, so
Yeah, like the one thing I didn't put on here is Find a Grave, which I actually, for the McDaniel thing, went to Find a Grave and was curious, like, because I thought that the life tenancy was why they had delayed demolishing the building, and I found out that Mr. Eckert died in 2010 and his wife in 2013, and I'm like, oh, okay, but apparently they weren't living there at all, so Find a Grave is a resource I go to a lot, and I didn't think to include it on here, so it probably should get added.
Okay, good, let's do it.
But it's kind of
But also don't we-
entirely obscene, thing to add there, kind of creepy, but a great source of information.
no, it is,
It can be very interesting.
yeah, genealogy, and sometimes like genealogy is a great way to like do a property search, so. Yeah, or maybe just, and then, but I think the historical society, I think that'd be good to list.
Well, what I did was, I did what the source is, and then you'll see that it'll say, like, the very first thing it says, you go online to get the MIHP thing, or there are hard copies at HSCC.
So one last thing I'm gonna ask my two colleagues here. I noticed in the last demo permit project, they mentioned the extensive resources of Grace Lutheran Church.
I wondered
What do we
what
know
they
about
were,
that?
I wondered what they were referencing too.
So,
I don't know what they were referencing that would have related to that property.
can I ask you to call Grace Lutheran Church and see what they have?
I don't know that they have, I mean, I've never.
Well, I know that the Methodist Church has an archive. But I don't know what they're talking about with Grace.
Yeah, I didn't know either, most of the churches, it's not gonna be property related, so I wasn't.
You think it might have been just boilerplate left over from the previous one you did?
I would think so.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it should be a resource we add. Okay.
And I didn't check and see what's on the Genealogy Society's website that might be relevant to property searches. So
We have one more month.
I should check that as well, and if I find anything, I'll send that to you. You
Yeah,
got the updated document now, right?
right.
Okay, then I'll send it to you, I'll take the Genie's.
Geez. And you go home and check the work you did. See if you
I got
missed
stuff
it.
in track. Because people just, I mean, if they have a library card, they can just go online, and a lot of online sources for genealogy from Maryland and by counties, so. Yeah.
Alright, so next month, we're gonna carry this over till next month. But next month, I wanna really make it good and then get it up on the website. Along with the example.
Are you okay if we add the regulatory power, the section of the code that actually states that this is why, so, a lot of people wonder, they can't make me do this, that's.
Oh, please do, please do.
I think the regulatory power needs some from the code that clearly states this is required for demolition.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's, I'm almost.
And, yeah,
Pleasant, yeah.
and that if they're going to rebuild, it has to be, it has to come before the Historic District Commission, and the plans have to be submitted, and it has to be sympathetic to the, historic, like that also.
Yeah.
Because people think they can
They can do anything they want when you
Yeah.
start.
Process includes planning commission too at that point.
Yeah, I like the whole thing,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
That's a
Maybe
good idea,
they
too.
Possibly BZA even. It's a lot.
Well, the big thing is to let them know that any new development needs to come back for a review by the Historic District Commission. Compatibility of the Historic District.
Right, I think it's been a learning curve for the community to understand you can't just slap up, pre-made Amish building. You need to have something that's in scope and character with the community. That sits in. So you don't get just a blank slate to do whatever you want. All right, good. So who's gonna write that part?
I can do that.
Thank you, thank you. All right, good deal. All right, so now let's go back to old business. Oh, we are in old business. We did A. Changing regular meeting time, item B. So, how would you guys feel if we bumped it up to 6 o'clock instead of 7?
I would love it to be bumped up to 6 o'clock. Yes, I absolutely would. Yes. So I'm good with 6. I would prefer that.
And as I recall, Grace didn't seem to have a problem. So tonight, let's make a motion to change our official time from 7 to 6. I will listen to a motion.
So move.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of moving the meeting time up to 6?
Aye.
Good, and you may need to call me or something, because I've been doing this for 20 years at 7 o'clock. And I'm really good with the first Wednesday of the month, but I may miss the time, so you may need to call me.
I think that the staff don't have to, like, they don't have to hang around extra long. And then there's just too much, I think there's just too much lag time between getting off work and then, like, there's not, like, I like the 6.
You notice a lot of these visitors tonight were all business people. They still have to go home. So, we can accommodate more business people, I think. All right, good. So far we have old business A and B done, new business A, B, and C done. So now I'm kind of excited to get down here to the implementation plan. The bad news is we did not get our funding from the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, which is a stunner to me. I thought we were a slam dunk. I thought we were slam dunk for that funding.
Weather agrees.
I think God agrees with me, because we should have got that funding. And I actually answered 1 or 2 questions while they were doing the siding. And one of the questions was, well, what's the recommended time for redoing the National Register? There is no recommended time. The National Register just came around 50 years ago. So we were on the cutting edge of submitting paperwork back then. Our stuff is now old. It's almost a half century old. It's old. And by the time we get around to fixing it all, it'll be even older. And so I was flummoxed with that question. It was almost like we were sort of pressing it or something. I said, no, we're not. We're struggling with bad paperwork. So, I don't understand it in a way, but it is what it is. So we didn't get the funding, but I did look over the RFP and I didn't see anything out of line with it. I think it'll be fine. Is it going to be submitted soon to your finance committee or finance director?
Be submitted to the city administrator first, and then if she's good with it, then it goes down to finance, and then they put the package together for the RFP.
Oh, wait, it's gotta go to the state.
And then the state, yes, before
Before we put it up.
finance, so you think,
Okay, then it will
Yeah.
have to, yeah.
And they need a couple weeks. So let's do it.
I think we're looking at beginning of January, kickoff, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
Like, let's aim for that, and then if we do better, that'd be great.
The state may also have names of vendors.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a couple names of vendors, but I only have 2.
So for your secondary lists that we had already, you had more, do you wanna send those to me? To be listed in, or we just keep note of secondary resources?
Oh. So you have a list I sent you.
Yeah.
You still have it?
Huh?
Okay, I've been collecting more. But I think. If you could send it to me, I'll double check to see if I've got all the resources on the list. And then I have a box of books I'm willing to loan to whatever company gets this. I just want them back. Because otherwise they're gonna spend half their time looking for the resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's silly. I've spent years collecting this stuff up, so. Take it. I've actually spent a year holding this stuff for this very project. So it's not just a box of junk, it's a box of stuff. Just so much better than a vacuum dump. All right. Anything else on implementing plan at all? Yeah, okay, 250th, now I'm super excited. 250th, so believe it or not, I had a real breakthrough this week with the Sons of the American Revolution. I had been submitting to get the Westminster Cemetery onto the National Patriots Trail that the William G. Pomeroy Foundation is funding. It's the same group that funded the Mary Shellman House sign
Yep.
at 206
The Women's History Project.
Women's voting trail, yeah. So it's the same money, it's just going through the SAR. But when I tried to get a hold of the SAR last year for their September deadline, I couldn't get a hold of them. I didn't have good email addresses, I didn't have any phone numbers, nothing. And so I let it go until this year, and then I started trying to track these guys down, and they're, I just kept hitting the stone walls, and then just sort of by accident, I found the secretary of the local SAR organization. And just tried the phone number, and sure enough, he answered and said, that sounds great. Let's get that Patriot William Winchester on the National Trail of Patriots.
All right.
And so within a week, he called the state guys, and I think I now understand why they didn't get back to me. We'll be the first in the nation. Oh, first in the state.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if we're first in the nation, although this is a brand new program, and we're first in the state, and I'm happy to be that.
Great.
So the requirements, I sent off to Melissa a half an hour before the meeting. And what they really need is they need a spot in the ground at the Westminster Cemetery where the sign can go. It's similar scope and size as the one in front of 206 East Main Street. Although it's gonna be pre-stamped, right? This graveyard holds the remains of unclean patriots. So we're not gonna have to rewrite it, we're not gonna be required to come up with wording. It is for the 250th.
Is there anybody in that cemetery other than William Winchester?
There are two other people.
Wow.
Yes, let me get their names. So I think I have this guy's email on my phone. And he's gonna do some of the research.
Who did that?
Wait a minute, that's coming up.
I'm sorry.
All right, so patriotic service, William Winchester, Henry Neff is military and patriotic service, and Caleb Stansbury is patriotic service. So 3 of them are confirmed patriots in the cemetery.
Wow, good.
I know. So I'm really excited about this, that we can have a view of the cemetery with a 250th thing. So that's something. Also, I'm kind of warming up to the idea that maybe Kathy and I are gonna have to pick out the 20 or 30 revolutionary homes in town. Because we won't have the historic overview work done in time. And we'll wanna get those plaques ready to go. So I think Kathy and I will probably meet sometime mid-month, and we'll come up with a recommended list of addresses. And start talking about, how do we approach these landowners? Get Grace to help us pick a plaque style. And see, what's gonna cost, probably have to figure out that budget. And work towards the plaque program. So that's number 2 this month. And then number 3 is the work at the historic cemetery, and this is our new website.
Wow.
Is this sort of like, okay, so it's in a thing, I don't know how to make it bigger.
I don't know how to make it bigger either, this is just draft,
Yeah.
okay, so for example, there should be a nice big donate money right now button there. It's all that stuff is not quite designed in yet. But this is what we've got so far, so click the tab, that's what we offer. And then below that is gonna be a little chit chat about the historic cemetery, and below that we'll have about the Westminster Cemetery, but that's where you stop right there. So people who are in the cemetery, do you see kind of in the little box? Yeah,
Oh, sorry, let me Zoom share this. Oh, wait, should we not share this to the?
I could share it, it's a draft, however, the public should understand, you're still working on it.
Right, let's get to the. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, you guys are looking at the TV and
I know,
talking about it.
okay, here we go, and there we go, yeah. So this thing here, search person?
Yes. So Kathy, give us a name, somebody you'd like to search in the cemetery.
I think some of the ones that I actually wrote, Sadie Number Miller, he's cool.
Sadie Miller.
Sadie Miller?
Miller.
Miller, Kneller.
So
Kneller, and the last name is Miller.
So her biodata's not up there yet. But that's her spot, so click on it.
That's Leo.
So there's a issue right there, we've gotta get rid of some of those
Yeah, the double Miller, but
double nullers, but go down a little bit on the image. Yeah, keep going down. There's a location. So if you wanna find them, you can. And we'll also have their histories in there, and we'll have obits, if people wanna send us obits. And so it's coming along, it's not just imaginary, it's pretty personal. It's gotta
I tried William Winchester since we were just talking about him.
go back and put in William Winchester, see, he's not, none of the bio data is in there yet.
Right, but still.
Yes, so.
William.
Oh, and he ought to be labeled as a veteran. So much more fun when someone else is doing the data entry. Yeah. Isn't that photography super clear? I love it. So other people who are in that grave or associated with them in the same location are listed. And if you go down all the way, Melissa, to the bottom, your little map should pop up.
Revolutionary Patriot.
There's where you can find him in the cemetery. So, for example, Mark, when I create for you a request for the sign, I'll probably take one of those screen captures and put a little blob on here, say that's where we want our sign.
Okay, perfect.
It's the kind of mapping we'll be able to scale from. So this was all partially done, this was done with the Maryland Heritage Area Authority, Maryland Heritage Authority Area Authority grant. MHAA grant. And part of it was to celebrate the 250th, so I'm counting that as a 250th activity. So this is what we're gonna be actually meeting tomorrow night to do some of the wordsmithing on the website, so we're very close to getting ourselves. You see, it's got a little dot where it says veteran there.
Yes.
That should be activated at some point where we can get a veterans map up.
Oh, neat.
I don't know if you can double click on it, see if it pops anything yet. Not yet.
No.
But we'll be having all our tours in there. So for example, we have a list of 6 or 8 people from the college, so we'll have a Westminster, we'll have a McDaniel College tour in there. We'll have a Civil War vets tour, we'll have a Revolutionary War vets tour. Then we'll have at least 4 or 5 tours by the time all is said and done. Famous people from Westminster are listed. We could do a famous women, that wouldn't hurt us in the least. But the cool thing is you create your own tour. The days of having a tour brochure are way behind us. You can create whatever you want. Whatever your interest is, you should be able to have it.
Question, going back to the Patriot signs. Will there be a mention on the sign that it is a 250th act, like, is there anything, it is, okay,
Yeah, because the whole activity is for the 250th.
okay,
So I expect them to have their own 250th little logo up. So
got it, okay.
yeah, it is specific to the 250th.
Nice.
So this is pretty exciting.
A lot of work.
But yeah, the last thing on the 250th scale I can report on is, I'm still working with the DAR. They're still interested in the 250th at Belgrove Square. So as far as I know, that's still on, right? So I'm still working with the DAR. Anything new from you, Miss Kathy, on the 250th? We're gonna work on those houses together.
Yes.
Anything new with businesses?
She tried.
Right?
We are at a little bit of a pause right now, talking about beautifying the garden beds due to a decision higher up than us right now on, did you get my message? Okay, we'll talk. To be continued. Okay.
So we have a pause.
Yeah, just a brief pause. It's not over. Yeah.
All right, and are we just looking at landscaping, or are we thinking about buildings spiffing up?
Right now, we're focused on landscaping.
Mark, how about that grant of filling in vacancies? That's a good one to peg as a 250th Hope.
So,
Project Restore.
Project Restore, okay. Well, we highlight 3 businesses downtown, 3 properties downtown. We're working with 7173. Sure, that's the highlight one. That's the one that really be the bang for its buck. Taking a historic building, saving it, renovating it. So we are in talks with them. Right next to Rock Salt.
The Patrick
It's
McGrath building.
Yeah,
White one with the,
right next to the commercial parking lot right there that has
Speak
some,
for ourselves.
so that's some structural issues, so.
the one that they came in, somebody came in and,
Yeah.
okay, that one. I saw that there was said for rent or something.
So that's the primary one, right across the street, the old pawn shop. It's another property we're looking at to help redo the facade and also interior fit out for commercial use. And then Locust Lane building, where the brewery wanted to go to. We've also allocated some funds for that, so those are the 3 primary locations that we received quotes from and have been working with. But again, we're looking at, this is on the list, so really, it's looking at other, if something happens with one of these 3 to ensure that this monies can go to another property. So the goal is, again, by 2025 or December, we'll have a business operating in these spaces with the funds that we've received.
And that's the good news,
besides-
we have funds, we have the max funds.
This
Yeah.
really feels like though a 250th thing.
That was, we received $300,000 from that.
Spiffing up for
Project
the
Restore.
250th.
Yes, yeah,
I want to be able to brag about that to Michelle Johnson, who's the state 250th coordinator. I want to say, oh, we have $300,000 just to fix up some of our businesses.
Yeah.
So this is mostly for facades.
no.
It's not actually, it's, the goal of the program is to get a business operating in a vacancy,
Whatever
so
it takes.
absolutely facades are included,
Okay.
but it also includes the interior work.
Okay, all right.
Only for commercial, only at a vacant location.
Are you going to be pushing the tax credits?
Yes,
Because that should help make your money go further.
we're really hoping for additional facade monies.
Exactly, that we can also put towards it. Again, and these were for properties that did not have a business in it at the time. So unfortunately, anybody that has a business now and that business happens to leave, we can't use these funds to work on that space. It's really for vacant spaces that will exist at the time of the,
In April,
when we receive the funds, so.
there's enough opportunity, I think, to
Yes.
spend the money,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
for all that, so.
yeah, those aren't the only 3 properties that we had. Those are the ones that we
Super.
obtain information and quotes for actual work to be done on those properties that helped us get the 300,000.
That's fantastic.
It's great news for the city.
So do we have any other 250th stuff to report?
I wanna mention on our sapling that's over here in the lot here, the tulip poplar. It's doing well, by the way. I know it's been raining, but it hasn't been. It's been kind of dry, so I'm excited to say it looks great. I got 2 quotes for a sign to go up there. So, a few $1,000s were proposed. This is it's a cast iron, so maybe we're shooting for the sky. I sent them a picture of the example over at the county office when there was a white oak tree that mimicked this. So, yeah, it could be doable. We haven't tried it yet, but my question is, right now I have language, I have a draft design, but should we mention the 250th? Probably yes, but maybe I should wait till we have a logo.
Okay.
Don't you just want the
But
city
it's
of
a fairly-
Westminster seal?
Easy project. Yeah, but then again, do we mention Nation's 250th?
Definitely, because I think that's the whole point.
Or we just put the national logo?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's try and resurrect the logos for the next meeting. I would like to have a 250th logo and be done with it.
There's a nice one that that we're using as a county now, that was designed by a student. We had always discussed that the city would create our own, possibly doing the same thing with a contest. Now, there are a lot of students out there, and other students I'm sure would love to do this.
Well, and to me, that just sounds like a lot
lot of communities are taking the national logo and just putting their city name across it to give a national identity to the program.
Consistent.
So
I like
that it's recognizable.
Because just because you have a contest doesn't mean any of the entries are gonna be what you need, right? So you know, you shouldn't have to be forced to pick one. I like that idea.
Yeah,
To be
I've seen a lot of communities that are taking that national one and just basically putting their name on it.
So
So the
if
continuity,
we
yeah.
do that, I'll speak with the mayor and Sarah to see if they'd like to do that. And then maybe we could get another proclamation out there.
Yeah, I like that because honestly,
It's helping to tie the national celebration together.
I'm with you on
Yeah.
the work of everything.
it's a lot of work, but also I hate to steal some kids' stuff.
Also,
Well, I actually find the Carroll County one to be kind of busy. It took me a while to figure out what it all was and how it tied into the phrase of
I
Carol's
like-
voices and so.
Continuity.
I do like theirs. I see where you're coming. I do like the design elements of it. I'm trying to pull up on here the Carol Voices America's 250th Community Forum. It's coming up. It is on September 4th, virtual. I'll send you all the information tomorrow. But the idea is that we are contacting Laura Bankard with the Historical Society to get the Zoom info. But that's the opportunity for the public to chat about the 250th. So right now, I think this is the best opportunity. We should be pushing that out to people.
Yeah, let's look into that. Do you mind having that ready for us for next month?
Yeah, I can pull up some. I think I just went to Google Images and then I went to their website, the national website, and
Let's just grab it.
Ribbon? The one with the ribbon?
there were several that people were using, and when I went to Google Images and just did 250th, and then it was pulling up all the various communities. And the way they're just kind of incorporating their name into the stock logo so that it's tying the whole country together with a similar logo.
I think that's the best idea.
Yeah,
We don't need to get in the weeds, but I was curious.
Which one is it?
I think if you go back up, you'll see more of that's kind of the America 250 seems to be what's really
This one?
popular.
With the ribbon?
You mean that everybody's doing different, okay, nice. So what's the official, do we know what the official?
So like this is their website.
Yeah,
And so we would just put City of Westminster, Maryland underneath that logo. See, I like this idea of that.
Yeah,
We'll read the launch and if they have any design guidelines.
So it sounds like it just went to Melissa.
Oh, sorry. I'm throwing it back to Kathy.
It sounded like.
I love looking at logos, but I would rather it be in a commission member's hands, so.
All right, okay.
I'll see if I
Ms.
can find something.
All right, anything else 250th? No? That was really exciting. Oh, I did attend the 250th virtual meeting on July 22nd. There was a part of the Civil War Heritage Area, 3-county virtual meeting on the 22nd of July. I made sure we were all invited, but I think I was the only one who really attended. And I have to say, as usual, we sound like we're really together in Westminster. We are leading edge. As far as I know, we're the only municipality actually got stuff we're planning to do. Have a list of things, you know, and I think there's even one county that may not even have a commission yet, so we're in good shape. We look good. So, okay, good. Lastly, Historic District Commission and public comments. We'll go around the room. Do you have anything for the good of the table, Ms. Cathy?
I don't think so.
I've just been obsessed with the cemetery. How about you, Chris? Nothing. Anything to add?
We did have a pre-submittal meeting with the county for the redevelopment of the Vince's Seafood site. So the concept is demoing the building and building a 2-story first floor retail, 2 apartments on the second floor. We just looked at the site plan itself, so no architectural elevations. Staff had concerns with the design and access, so once we get the architectural designs, we'll certainly bring that to the historic district.
And they're aware of the parameters?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we generally speaking, just broadly state, you know, it's supposed to fit into the concept of material and look of the historic district.
Maybe a meeting with the designer or the architect before they invest all that time and money. Do you think that would be helpful? That way they don't like, they present these plans and we go, you know, that's not gonna fit. I mean, do you think maybe some more guidance up front would be helpful?
It could be, I can offer that to them.
I mean, I think that would be, yeah, that way they, you know. So we don't sit here and pick it apart, like, oh, this, and this, and then we'll say, well, we didn't understand that. I
Yeah.
think that would be helpful. That's just a
So
thought.
they provide some conceptual, verbal concepts.
Right.
You know, first floor brick, maybe a second, he was offering maybe more historic look at the first floor and something a bit more modern with second. I wasn't really,
No.
but so maybe the discussion is good, and I've also explained the importance of the visual impact as you're driving down. That is a focal point. That's also very important to take into account for that site.
Do you know that's also a spot where, now Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just south of Gettysburg. That was one of the spots where there was a cannon, shot a single shot, but it was a cannon was there. Protecting the city. It wasn't in 1863, it was a different excursion.
Yeah, I forget if it was 63 or if it was during Rosser's reign, 62.
Yeah.
But there was the,
Actual Civil War action there.
the Grumbine store was there for a long time, had that really funky fountain out in the front that was kind of fun. So it's always been a very visual location.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's in a spot of something iconic.
How high can it go? It can't go beyond higher than,
3 stories, I
okay.
think is the highest for that location.
Yeah, it can't just be like this monument in the middle of,
Yeah.
like, cause those houses are
Yeah.
low, they're not.
There's a height that also looks at the adjacent properties
Like
too.
DC, you can't be higher than the Capitol. What is it?
And also McDaniel students coming, I'm not sure the date of that. When did the students come?
Westminster Welcome
Westminster Welcome.
is August 24th. That's where the first year students come down with, everybody marches down for McDaniel. And the city's giving away $10 vouchers to each first year student to spend downtown businesses. And we're really excited again. The mayor will be speaking, the president, Jack Skin, will be speaking.
It's new location, isn't it, in the city park?
Actually, it reverted back to the old location.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's still at, the students will come down to the Westminster Branch Library and hear a couple welcome speeches and then be dispersed. And there's actually a community fair for local nonprofits out on the library lawn that will be there too.
We didn't know about that.
And they get to do a scavenger hunt, so it's really geared toward these students, but since you know, if you're interested, I would like to be a part of it.
But if it's for first year students, they're not gonna be interested in this.
Yeah,
Well,
you may not be our target
No,
audience.
maybe in 15 years, I guess.
so that, do you have anything else, Mark?
No.
I wanted to also mention, tonight was the first of 3 Westminster Wednesdays, where the Downtown Business Association is inviting the public to come out a little bit later. Retailers are staying open until at least 8 p.m. and restaurants as well. Many restaurants are already open later, but a few of them aren't, usually like thinking of the cafes or delis. So they were able to stay open a little bit later. So we also have invited an ice cream shop to Locust Lane. So we have the bus stop come out tonight. They're giving away a few scoops of ice cream, prepackaged big scoops of different flavors. And it was just nice to see so many shops open later, because honestly, you drive down and things tend to close up about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at the very latest in independent business community like this.
And Magic did offer parents to drop the kids off, play video games, so they can actually maybe go out and
For a date
enjoy
night or something.
for date night, so this is the first one, and like as Melissa said, we'll have 2 more, and it'll be next year, just keep building.
So
Like first Friday.
depending on when you're off work, Chris, depending, you might be able to get dinner beforehand, but it's the same exact time as our meetings. So for better, for worse, you know, you're in town, but will we be here? Right, maybe we'll get out early enough, we can all go somewhere. That's what we should do.
Okay. All right, is there anything else for the good of the cause, Miss Melissa?
No, we're good.
Hearing nothing else from the Historic District Commission or public comment, I move that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.